This is, I mean, what I just heard today is funny. I mean, Rich Paul, I mean, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, bro. Like, I mean, if you, it's making me laugh, man, all day. Like, I mean, how could you see something so stupid? Like LeBron, I mean, Jordan will have zero rings without Scotty. I mean, okay, Scottie Pippen was, he's an unbelievable player. Um, he, I mean, for me, he's probably in my view, I don't know, but in my view, I think he's the best second option, like the second best Robin ever, in my view. Um, but how can you see something so stupid like that? Like, I mean, let's think about it. When Jordan left for baseball, Scotty had 2 years to do something. What did he do? Nothing. When he had the chance to be the leader and show the people like who that he is the man, when Phil Jackson in I think it was '94 against Knicks, that the game-winning shot in which Kukoc scored, and Phil Jackson's like, I'm gonna let's run the play for Kukoc, and he got mad. He sat down he sat down the play. He didn't want to come in. That's that's a lot of a lot of like um, shows that showed a lot about Scotty's character. And then of course, when Jordan retired again, he went to Portland. He had a good team. He had Rasheed Wallace. He had Steve Smith. Um, he had what's his name? That guy Sabonis. He had the point guard. I can't remember his name. He had what's his name? What is his name? I can't remember. But anyway, he had a great team, and he blew it. Remember, I mean, he was kind of they said the so-called best player on the team. And remember when they lost to they're up they're up what 15 points in Game 7 against the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe, and they ended up losing. Then he went to Houston. He had Barkley. I mean, I said Barkley was like at the end of his age, and Hakeem was at the end of his age. But still, I mean, if you think I mean, he wasn't. I mean, he was like 33, 33. He wasn't that, oh, he wasn't at that. He was okay at the back end of his career, but still, like, if you think if the people think he was, um, one of the reasons why Jordan won all the 6 titles, then why didn't he win it alone? Now again, I'm not saying I'm not I'm not saying you know Jordan would have won 6 with Pippen, but you can't come up and say he would have won 0. You know, let's break it down. For example, let's break down all of Jordan's 6 finals. First final, he played when he played the Lakers. Worthy was injured. Kareem had retired. Um, Magic was at the back end of his career. Plus, he was dealing with I think that's when he came up with the HIV. I think it was in 91, 92. I can't remember. And the Bulls beat them 4-1. So let's take what's his name out of Scottie Pippen out of the equation, like he wasn't there. You wouldn't think probably if they won 4-1, you wouldn't think probably they would have won 4-3, for example. Um, another one, Portland. Let's be honest, Portland wasn't that good. There was one of the worst. All the 6 finals, I think that was his worst opponent. You tell me Jordan wouldn't have beat Portland by himself? Who did they have? Okay, they had Clyde Drexler. Clyde Drexler wasn't that great. I don't know how they got there in the first place, but I mean, I was too young. I don't really remember the routes, but I mean, you can look at their team. The team wasn't that good. Jordan should have won that. Now maybe he might have a point with the Suns series, that because even with Scotty, the Suns blew at least a couple of games that I thought they should have won. A lot of games, like they were up in a couple of the games, and they messed up at the end. So maybe that's one he probably might have lost, because that Suns team was very good. Um, the Sonics team, he, I mean, they were good, but I still think he would have beat them. I still think he would have beat them. The Sonics and the Portland team, those two teams that got to the finals those years, I don't think they were the best team in the West. I understand, always, of course, you're the West champions, but I don't think they were the best. I don't think they were that good. He might have got that one. Now the next two against Jazz. Now the last one against Jazz, the second meeting with the Jazz, I don't think he should have won that. I think so, because I think the first time maybe, but the second time the Jazz, it was the first year they weren't used to playing in the finals. The second year they looked tougher, they looked better, but of course, being Jordan and what he is, he ended up finding a way to win that series. But I think let's say he would have probably at least won two of them. At least two, let's say three the most. I mean, you can't come and say that, that without Scottie he would have won six. He would be 0-6. I mean, not one. I mean, come on, Rich Paul. Every single person, every single player needed someone to help him. So you're telling me, same thing with LeBron. You think if LeBron didn't have Dwayne Wade in Miami, or he didn't have Kyrie with the Cavs, or he didn't have Anthony Davis with Lakers, he would have won those series. If he didn't have those players, he would be probably 0 rings too. Every single number one guy needed a number two guy. It's basketball. You're going to score all the points. You're going to play. The balls. You're going to score. All the 100-some points for the team, and all the steals and all the rebounds. So other people got to contribute. I mean, like tell me one person tell me one star of a team who was the number one option on the team won by himself. Bird needed the what's his name, Parrish and what's his name, McHale, and all these other guys to win. Magic needed Kareem. Magic never won without Kareem. Who else? I mean, Shaq never, as dominant as he was, never won without Kobe. Okay, and he needed Dwayne Wade also to win in Miami. LeBron needed all these other players to win. Duncan needed Robinson to win. Duncan needed Tony Parker and Ginobili. Tony Parker was a Finals MVP in one of the finals. I can go on and on and on. Who else? If let's say Carmelo, the Jazz won't beat Jordan those 2 years, Carmelo couldn't do it alone. He needed Stockton. He needed he needed all these other players. I can go on and on and on and on. There's not Steph Curry needed Durant. Durant needed Steph Curry. Kobe needed Gasol when he was number one. I mean, every single person needs a number two to win. So that is the most ridiculous, stupidest comment I've ever heard. Like he should be embarrassed for himself for saying something stupid like that, because he knew he knew he was gonna backlash for that. I mean that's so mind-boggling to even think that he actually said that, and he did say that. You can go over and hear it. It's just ridiculous, man. I just had to say something about it because it's the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. Let me know what you guys think, but yeah, I had to comment about that.